Viewers, welcome back to my channel. This is John from Cloud Tech Insight. As part of the Amazon Bedrock learning series, today we'll be talking about Bedrock agents. This is one of the new feature, not relatively new feature added by Amazon, and it will help you enable, automate some of those real life use cases in a sequential or in orchestrated fashion. And you will see a lot of development happening within the agent space, not just within AWS, but in all the cloud platforms or LLM space. The agents will slowly start developing and automate some of the tasks that typical human does. And the task that we are going to talk about in this session is the interview process. We will break down the interview process into smaller chunks and see how we can automate some one piece of those tasks. And if you think that you need more information around the Bedrock agents or detailed deep dive, please leave a comment and then I can work on complete orchestration for the Bedrock agents. So let's get started. So in this session, we are going to automate, or at least automate, a piece of an interview process within any enterprise or any organization. So just like in any organization, the first step in resume collection is collecting those resumes, applications, and collecting them and store it in a pool. The pool can be an S3 bucket or any kind of storage where we can store those resumes in different formats like PDFs, Word document, etc. Once the resume pool is complete, we move on to the resume review process, where you review the resume, see if it's a good candidate, then goes to resume selection, where you review the resume and see if the candidate is good for that particular role that your company is looking for. And if it's good, then you move on to the sending the invitations for the phone interview or on-site interview based on the company policies. If it's not a good selection, you can route it to another department. And this would be like a small piece of a bigger process in every organization. What we're trying to do is trying to automate some of these pieces into a Bedrock agent and automate some of the manual work that the human. So in this session, out of these 5 tasks, we'll be focusing on one particular task, which is more around the resume review. What it does is basically go through the resume, see if the candidate is the right fit for a certain role, and if it says yes, it moves on to the next process where it selects those resumes and put in a certain bucket. But for simplicity purposes, we're just making sure the candidate is fitting to the right role. So this can be translated into an S3 bucket where the resume pool is stored. From there, it moves to the knowledge base, where it can be stored in a vectorized format in Amazon Bedrock knowledge base. And this will be a continuous ingestion in the production environment, but in this example, it will be a one-time ingestion and will create those knowledge base. Once the knowledge base is created, I will start creating those Bedrock agent for the resume review and selection. And in this previous example, you will see some of these tasks turns into some of them are Bedrock agents, some of them are simple file transfer. So it depends upon the task and complexity of the task. You can choose the agent and the model within the agent so that you can make those tasks more automated fashion. So in the example, we'll be just talking about the resume view, where we'll be pulling some of those resume into S3 bucket, and from there to the knowledge base, and there we use a Bedrock agent to review and see if it's a good fit or not. So we're on to the Bedrock console. The very first step that we want to do is the knowledge base, which you can already, the knowledge base, you can create the knowledge base here in this console. Click on to the knowledge base and then move on to the create knowledge base. And you can pick the name of the knowledge base, provide the description, and create a user ID, IAM user or a role for the knowledge base. Then you pick the S3 location where the knowledge base is. So in this example, I picked my personal resume. I put it in S3 bucket, and then I can browse to the corresponding location and then hit next after that. And once I hit, you can create the knowledge base, and this creation of knowledge base is part of one of my learning series, and you can refer that video for on how to create the knowledge base. It takes some time. It creates these, what it does is it converts the PDF document that I put in the S3 bucket into a vectorized format, and those vector as format is stored in open search serverless. So it takes some time to build the serverless application. It takes, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes. So for the demo, I've already created the knowledge base, and this is the knowledge base that I'm going to be using right here. And this knowledge base has crawled my resume, and it's already in the vectorized format within the OpenSearch serverless format. So when you create a knowledge base, you can always use OpenSearch or Pinecone based on your preference and the requirements. You can pick and choose the vector DB of your choice. So once the OpenSearch is created, the next step is to create the Bedrock agent. So now you go to under the orchestration, you can see an option called agent. You can always create an agent and call it like task, and then you can provide the description. What does it do? Description, and this is an option where if the LLM has further questions, it can always ask the user to provide additional information. You can create your own IAM permission or a role for this task, and then you move on to the next step, where this is where you provide instructions to the agent. What do you mean by instruction? The prompts. What do you want the agent to do? All the information is provided in this section. And as you can see, as of now, only Anthropic models are supported. Versions Instant V1, V2, and V2.1. These are the LLM models or the versions that is supported. To keep in mind, in the future, they will have more models here. So based on the complexity of the task, you can pick and choose model for each and every task. And always, you can also prompt engineer to make the performance much better. So in this example, I'm providing the instruction to the Bedrock agent. I'm just saying you are a resume assistant. You review the resume, the task, and see if the job applicant is resume is fitting the role for the user provides, and tell what job applicant is missing for that role provided. Also, what are I would say provide information on why this candidate good for the role. This is a very simple and straightforward instruction to provided to the Bedrock agent. What it does, it goes through the resume, see if it's a good fit, and if there's anything not a good fit, it'll say doesn't see or say doesn't have certain experience, or why certain user or the candidate should be picked. So those information you provide the instruction here in the instruction for the agent section. Once it's complete, you move on to the next section. An action group is a very interesting piece where if you want to connect to an API, get some information, or if you want to move the file from one location to another, you can always do it through a Lambda function. You can provide the name of the Lambda function here and select the Lambda function within this, and then you can see some of those actions happening, or when you provide the instruction, you can say, hey, use this Lambda function to move the file once you make a decision, etc. So for the simplicity of our session, I'm not going to choose action groups. I will choose action groups in the next few sessions, and we'll do some complex ones. But I want to start with something like a hello world version so that you can understand the Bedrock much easier. So I'm going to skip this section just by hitting next. Once I hit next, I'm going to go to the knowledge base, and I pick my knowledge base here, and I provide the instruction. What is the instruction? The resume is provided in a PDF format and has details about the candidate. So again, you have to provide instruction on how, what kind of document, what is the information in the document. Some level of information should be provided to the knowledge base so it can make a very informative understanding on how to pick up the data, how to use the data within the S3 location or the vector DB. So once we move on to the next section, once you review and then create an agent, creating an agent takes few seconds up to few minutes. So let's give it some time. There you go, the agent is created. Now it's a time to test the agent. So towards the right side of the window, you have an option to test the agent. So what you do is the candidate good for data engineer roles. Let's see what the response is. It takes few seconds for the model to respond. So now you can see the model responded saying, based on my analysis of the candidate's resume, they have strong skills, experience in MLOps, AWS data architecture, build. So some of these informations are provided based on the knowledge base and the data stored in the vector DB, which is the open search serverless. Now, is the candidate good for accounting job? So this is an interesting use case. Now it's looking into the resume to make sure this job, a person has the experience as an accountant or some experience around accounting. So it takes like few seconds on the test window. So let's give it a few seconds and then get back to it. See, now you can see the response saying, based on my analysis, I could not find any accounting specific skills or experience listed on the candidate resume. So this is a detailed response. You can always tweak your prompt to provide like a 1 or 2 liner or like a 1 word, yes or no kind of information. So this is where you should understand the power of agent, like one task where it says if it's the right fit, then it triggers another task which can move this resume to an S3 bucket. So the whole process can be a kind of automated or semi-automated using Bedrock agents. So again, if I ask what is the name, it extracts the name from the resume. What is the email? You can get the email from the resume and it sends an email to the corresponding for a phone interview or something. So this really shows the power of Bedrock agent. And this is where I see a lot of developments going to happen. If you are looking to be an expert in Bedrock, I would say understand Bedrock agent, and I will add additional videos, a detailed or in-depth videos into Bedrock. Please leave a comment in the section to if you want to like a deep diver session. I can go work with the action groups, create lambdas, show a couple of processing techniques, orchestrate at least 2 to 3 tasks in a process or a workflow. So please do let me know. Please leave a comment in the comment section. With that, I'm concluding the session. Like I mentioned before, if you need a detailed deep dive, especially working with different APIs from the Bedrock agent, please leave the comment in the comment section so that I can work on those sessions. And like I always say, please like the video if you think the video is informative. Also subscribe to my channel. It will be a great encouragement for me to create additional videos. To see you in the next video. Thank you, everyone.